Developed by Crows. Written by Davey. Did I say Davey? Oh, okay. Guess we can. I really know subtitles, if I'm going to be honest. This game should be interesting enough. Let me take a quick swig. Be back. Alright. This is a game I definitely wanted to cover. And this is a new game, so of course, my role, and also for new subscribers, there will only be two video clips because A, I will eventually come back to this project, but when I feel like it, and B, I have a multitude of too many video game projects, so I kind of always have to do two, and if there's a demand for it, like people are like, this was such a solid walkthrough, please continue this, then yeah, of course I'll continue this when I get time. But if it's like a high demand, people are just like watching this like non-stop, then yeah, okay, cool. Anyway, no subtitles. Have you played the Stanley Parable before? Obviously not. Okay, too barely visible. Was it gonna be a spoiler if I have played the Stanley Parable before? I know Doc has played it, but I don't know if he played the original version. I know he played the Ultra, or he played the deluxe version, but I don't know if he played the original. Have to double check with him. Please enter the current time. Okay. How do you want me to play in the current time? Wait, is that going based on AM? Wait, are we doing military time? Fascinating. Huh. Cool. Oh my gosh, they got the whole kind of like office work to a freaking T. I'm actually impressed. Make sure I'm recording. Awesome sauce. Alright, field of vision. No subtitles. I absolutely want this to be kind of like a movie. Talk about auto walk? No, I don't want that. I'm intrigued. I'm immediately intrigued. Okay, so I gotta crouch. Awesome sauce. Okay, so before we begin, yeah, let's go ahead and do it. Welcome to Part 1, the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe Edition, or the Stanley Parable for short. I heard so much about this game back in the day, I just didn't get the opportunity to play it. So Doc can really give me kind of expertise in what deviates from the original, what added extra bonus that they added. And I absolutely wanted to kind of just, yeah. And it's on Essential, and it was on my radar. I was like, alright, this game is just too intriguing. Alright, but first, before I kind of gush over this, Deconstruction, and I'm going to go into this too. Based on the AI overview, deconstruction is a method of analysis that includes breaking down or examining something to reveal its significance. So this includes a variety of contexts, philosophy and literature, art, adapting or separating elements, destroying or demolishing, building. But if you really want kind of like a specific example, tvtropes.org, I would highly recommend to check that out because that's a good resource for analysis and going into deep dives of games that just they don't really do a deep dive, especially if it's vague and all that. But deconstruction, according to tvtropes.org, is deconstruction literally means to take apart or to take something apart in a literal sense. Alright, so you're probably thinking like, okay, I still don't understand what the hell I'm talking about. Good point. Okay, so in terms of deconstruction, like if we're really talking about it, the Batman Arkham series, I would say that's a deconstruction because it deviates what we know about the Batman lore. They still have the classic Batman lore, but they absolutely kind of like deviate and do a lot of deconstruction of the Batman mythos. It's not like standard Batman that you have used to, like the Batman animated series. It's kind of like that's dark, but it was clear and it was the most concise Batman mythos. Yeah, pretty much. Batman Arkham series took a hammer to it, and just like everything that we experienced from the Batman Arkham series, yeah, that's gone. Batman the Telltale series, that was also a deconstruction. But if we're really going to go with like some games, Bioshock. Bioshock is a perfect deconstruction of like Would You Kindly. That's a spoiler alert. If you haven't played Bioshock 1, what the hell are you doing here? Play Bioshock 1. But also, that also kind of like associates, I was trying to say associates, but it also applies to Bioshock Infinite. That is also deconstruction because, and I'll read from what the, okay, I'll go ahead and read it. Bioshock 1 is a damning rebuttal to Atlas Shrugged. That's a book I heard of but I haven't read, and to the philosophies and attitudes behind objectivism, without proper regulation. The objective gulch would become populated with corrupt corporate executives and quickly turn into a wretched hive. Facts. Bioshock Infinite, which I also played and beaten, deconstructs steampunk by focusing on the dystopian elements of late 19th and early 20th century society that most steampunk settings adore. Also facts. Trust me. Play that game and you'll know what I mean. If we also include Armor Core, that effectively tears down the usual over-the-top humongous mecha and tropes in favor of bleak, desolate, and dying depiction of Earth where history repeats itself. Because war never changes. Cyberpunk 27 is also a deconstruction, but that's gotta be spoilers. Darkest Dungeon, another one. Death Stranding, definitely another one. Diablo, definitely another one. And guys, the list goes on. What I'm trying to say is Stanley Parable is one of those. So whatever you think that it's gonna be like, oh okay, this is just like an Office Space kind of thing. Wrong! It's not. Did I wake you up? No. So let's begin the game. The end is never. Oh, wait. That's even
This is the
important.
story of a man named Stanley.
Oh.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Who's the narrator? No, seriously, who the hell is talking? Okay. Can I just press the button? I don't know, I feel like I should actively rebel against this narrator. Okay. You know, I'm kind of glad Doc didn't spoil this for me. That was a fantastic opening. It knows what it wants to be, it sets the tone, it absolutely does a deconstruction of... I guess in the formats of Bioshock, we're kind of used to Would You Kindly. This is kind of like... So Stanley is used to getting orders from the monitor. He doesn't get that. No meeting. Explain. I think that's such a great deconstruction of just following orders. You literally can do whatever you want. Okay. I guess I can't press the keyboard. Sure. What's in here? Hello?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Or I'm just gonna go ahead, narrator, and just kind of put my butt on the scanner. People do that. I mean, I'll just read some stuff. Or maybe I'll pour this coffee down somebody's keyboard. Scroll around.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Piss off, you wanker. I was just exploring. So this guy just basically... A fantastic voice acting, by the way. This indie game won... I think it won an award in 2013. I can see why. Surprising, it even got ported to PlayStation and the modern consoles. Oh. I didn't know I could turn it off. Wait, I can't go back in my office? Hey narrator, can you just use your magic words to open it? Please? No? Okay. Then be a dick. Weird that I can't see the outside. Interesting that these doors are weirdly open. Why was Stanley 427? So there's 427 test subjects? Are we guinea pigs? Is this basically a metaphor for office work being draining, soul draining? That we're in our own prison from corporate greed? Oh gosh, I'm really into it. But yeah, I mean, this is just basically a deconstruction of, oh yes, rewarded office work, but it's just like an actual realistic lens of what it's like to work for a job. Man, that's it. All I know is, story's fantastic, I can already tell, and we got this from PlayStation Plus Essential. Yeah, this is one of the good ones. Alright, let's see what we got. Hey narrator, you got a name? Guess I'm just Stanley. I already established that. There's some chords there.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
On my left? Okay. So, I'm guessing that's the original. I'm gonna go to the right. Piss off.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
No, I think I'm just gonna kind of ignore your orders. If I don't have to follow the basically narrative-driven instructions, I can just completely not do it. Because the game is giving me a choice. Ah, clever mechanics game. Everything that the narrator is... Is this a deconstruction of narrative... okay, I'm trying to say deconstruction of narrative-driven games, where you always have to follow the objective to progress the plot, but you're doing the complete opposite, so you kind of feel like your own man or woman.
truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
I mean, yeah, I guess.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
This is sublime. The narrator.
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality. It's possible that this is why everyone left.
You really don't like Stanley much. Guess I'll just wait for time.
Stanley sat around waiting for more dialogue, but when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
Yeah, okay, I got it. Crystal clear. Keep your ass moving. Got it. Just waiting for you to say something else, narrator. What you gonna do? You gonna talk my ear to death? What's up? Alright, so the time, what is that, like 10:57? Can I zoom in? Okay, narrator, I get it with the silence. You're telling me to go. Can I at least grab this coffee before you close the door?
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
Maybe I don't want to, narrator. Maybe I'm just gonna rebel. I'm a rebel. Door on the left, huh? Nah, I'm gonna take the door straight.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
I followed the instruction on the monitor and, you know, workers comp. Not really workers comp. Maybe I just don't give a damn. Maybe I've been so crushed from the job so long of pressing buttons and following simple instruction, I just wanted to kind of break that barrier. Or I just don't give a shit. So I'm in a warehouse. Gosh, they should really present this game in school. This would be such a great, like, philosophical class, or they should call it deconstruction class. Like, hey, this is the deconstruction of control, but your character is exhibiting the lack of control, or control for the narrator. Or this is like, you know what? TV tropes. Let's see what you actually say. I'm actually curious. Now I'm curious of what their deconstruction concept is. I have to know. I absolutely have to know. Excuse me for just 1 second. The game will end. The game will never end. Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty accurate. Apparently this is a mod of Half-Life 2. And, mind you, that's my bad. This was actually released in 2011. That's my bad. But it doesn't matter. Okay, so what is this a deconstruction of? If I am going to be accurate. Okay, so of linear games that tell you exactly what to do while giving you the illusion of living in an explorable world. Yeah, pretty much. That's very. Also, of games that inspire a last-second heel face turn rebellion. Solve the soup cans, game-breaking bug, screw Destiny, and the issue of who controls who in a game. It's also a rather nice deconstruction of narrators and the whole idea of plot in a story. Shit, yeah, that's right. The game also shows that morality plays more interesting and personally insulting the player for being sadistic are often run by sadists itself, except their sadism is only elevated as better because they happen to be creators and can thus put words in the player's mouth as they wish. Yeah, this is absolutely a brilliant game, and this deserves to be played by a lot of people. Like,
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about.
uh-oh!
Please. But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Oh my gosh! What? I was, and we're back here again.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I have to admit, that was so fascinating. Not committing, like, jumping off there, and not gonna say that because of YouTube.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and
Yeah, I know.
Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
This is such a brilliant description.
Wow. Yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
This is such a brilliant deconstruction of Narrator.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Wait, who's her? Who the hell are you talking about? Her? Who's her?
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life.
Who's her?
She's been waiting.
You're being manipulative. You are intentionally being manipulative. This is like Portal from Valve, like the cake is alive, but in a narrator sense. Yeah, narrator just kind of pulled like a I guess he didn't like me not following the instruction. He becomes kind of hostile. I feel a little threatened. Who's her? Wait. Why is the door all black? Hey, narrator, I was just kind of screwing around. We can take the game seriously, right? This is me bargaining. Kind of dark here, don't you think? Whoa, what the hell?
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. To
What?
reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another, then pick up the phone.
Oh my gosh, this is kind of screwed up. Okay, I guess I'll answer the phone, since I... Why is there a phone here? I'm gonna unplug the phone. What the hell?
Oh, Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Whoa!
Gotcha. Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife? They
No.
want to commit their life to you. I'm trying to make a point here, Stanley. I'm trying to get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
I don't want to.
Sorry, but
What?
you're in my story now.
Whoa, what the... Did you just become sentient and wait, your story... Did the narrator just kind of... The narrator's being meta. Hey, narrator, this isn't funny anymore. I mean, obviously. So the narrator's a villain. I guess he had his villain arc as I didn't follow instruction. Okay, I guess I'm going dead. This is creepy.
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
What? I don't have to do this at all. All because I didn't follow instructions. Well, what the shit, dude? Okay, fine.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence.
Oh, shit.
Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
This is such a brilliant I'm going to keep saying this. I'm going to give this a solid score. So what would have happened if I followed the instruction? I'm going to have my wife play this one. This is one that she cannot ignore. It's not essential. And we made room. This was a brilliant game. And yes, I said brilliant a lot. This is such a fantastic, brilliant, innovative game that definitely deserved to be unessential. And yet we made room for Suicide Squad. Sony PlayStation, what were you thinking? This is the game that people should play. Oh my gosh. I've been playing this for 27 minutes, and I have been enamored. Intrigued.
But in his mind, he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful. And each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
I mean, I can... Fine.
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly. So he went further. He imagined that he came to 2 open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold.
Gosh, you're really treating Stanley as insignificant.
As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable.
Wait, roll credits.
It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
I'm gonna press the button.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
What?
I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again.
Please die.
Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again. And Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
Woo! I thought he was bluffing. I was like, okay, come on. I was like, you're screwing around. I was like, you're not gonna actually kill my character, and he actually did. Oh my gosh, this is... Yeah, wow. Okay, yeah, we got a game. This is not
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Okay, I'm going to the meeting room. I'm gonna just follow your instruction, because you killed me, like... Well, one, I actually did... Not gonna say that first concept, because YouTube put probably age restrictedness. You know, there should probably be an age restriction. Okay. Okay. Yep, I'm definitely awake. This was something. Brilliant writing. This is such it's up there. It is, I think it rivals Mass Effect level writing. I've seen some brilliant writing. That is some brilliant writing. This earns it. I can see why this was award-winning.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Yeah, since you got all hostile and kind of pissy, so yeah, I'm gonna just follow your instruction this time. You prick.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Yeah! Huh. Okay, seriously, who's playing the narrator? Jeez. Are we playing a psychological horror? Because it feels like it. No one's gonna play the game the same way. There's just no way. There's no way. Seriously, who's playing the narrator? Kevin Brightning. I never heard of him before, but yeah, definitely put this guy in more work. He needs to be in a lot of video games where you're going to utilize his voice acting. Guy brings it. He crushes it. He crushes it with this S-tier acting. Okay. He's one of the best parts of this game because he plays a fit-stick villain. Guess I'll go in the broom closet.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Or maybe I'll close it. What you gonna do? Just a broom closet.
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
Yeah, well, I'm going to defy you once again, because last time you told me to press a button.
It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet.
Okay.
He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA.
Piss off, you wanker. I just
Coming
exploring.
to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
What's downstairs? I'm gonna go downstairs. Hey, what's downstairs, bro? Seems like a
But
car.
Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
Wait, what?
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment and my wife and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay. Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Oh, shit.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
What?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Oh shit, that was actually one of the endings. Oh shit, that was one of actually the endings. Yep, that was actually an ending. And that was phenomenal. There's more. There's multiple endings. This is an ultra deluxe, so of course this is like a complete edition. My mind's been blown. That was such a... And that was 42 minutes. We reached the end of the game, but in a very specific ending. Okay, so what happens if we follow the instructions? So this is like a time loop, but no one's choices in the game is going to be the exact same. Well, there is. I hear that there was multiple endings. That was definitely one of them. Okay, so I imagine Doc platinumed this game. There's no way. He's a very analytical guy. Yeah, he's a very analytical guy, so I know he went to every faucet and every intricate detail of this game. I know what I'm going to give it. Alright, I'm committed. I am absolutely committed. Shit got crazy. So, wait, did I unlock 2 endings? Because the narrator got real hostile towards me and told me to, like, please die. Please die. You're not going to press this button. I'm going to manipulate you and screw with you. And then, basically, you did follow instructions, then you made a last heel turn. And then he's like... Then Stanley kind of has a nervous or mental breakdown, and then he jumps out the window. He kills him.
All his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Okay.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Yeah, we're going to just follow the instructions, see what happens, and not screw with the narrator, because we broke the game. This was a mod of Half-Life 2. Oh, man.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Yeah, we'll do that. Yep. So much meta awareness.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Yeah, we're just gonna go to the broom closet.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Alright, I wonder if Doc followed his instruction. Actually, now I'm gonna see if he has a walkthrough of this. There's no way. There's no way he did a walkthrough. He had to. He had to do the original one. There's no way he did it. Alright, going upstairs then. So where's the boss's room? Guess it's the boss's room?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him, and so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Okay. 2845, got it.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
Okay, I'm going. Where's the... Oh.
2845.
Okay. Aggression. You need to get laid.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Yeah, not like I had a choice. Where the hell am I? Hey, narrator, where am I going, by the way?
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
I highly recommend this game. Yeah,
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Nope, I'm gonna just go back. Fine, I'm actually curious. Let's do it. Escape. Well, I mean, there's an escape. I don't have to go through here. Out of here.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Yeah, I'm gonna take my chance.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Eat shit.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Okay, well, I'm gonna totally do that. Fire! Oh, jeez!
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever.
Oh,
Stanley
shit.
can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man.
Oh my gosh.
So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end. to
No, I
his
don't.
brief
I don't
and
accept
shallow
this.
life. Farewell, Stanley.
No, this is the third time you killed me, or fourth. Dude!
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as
What?
Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
What the hell? This is a completely different ending. I guess I'll... The Stanley... Roll
And
credits?
yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
Hey, who's the woman talking? Wow, this was an ending. Did I just...
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Well, that's deep. The Stanley's computer. Oh, okay. Okay. Wow. Corridor. Wait. Let me read this. The pacing of this opening section was important to get right. This corridor has been moved and altered to make sure the player reaches 2 doors in a good time. Dude, developer. Yeah, you had some go. You struck out. Okay, hold on. Let me just crouch and read this. The blueprint shows at the office from the beginning of the game. The path from Stanley's office to the 2 doors was the first part of the game that was built. Sections has been added and altered through development through the core layout remains almost identical to the first iteration. The nature paintings. These nature paintings make me feel something tranquil, at peace, and not a care in the world. Okay, there's the file cabinets. What's behind door number 1? What's behind door number 2? And what's behind... who cares? The button sounds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. A selection of the sounds used throughout the game when buttons are pressed. Each sound is a mix of a keyboard stroke and synchronized sound. Did the lady just say that I just died? The 2 doors. The set of the 2... Wait, did I read this already? Okay, well, I'm going to read it anyway. The set of the 2 open doors was the very first concrete piece of the Stanley Parable's design. Once this room was created, the rest of the game emerged as an extension of it, an exploration of the contradiction this room posed. That's pretty much choice is meaningless. Choice is an illusion. That's what they're trying to emphasize, or maybe that's his metaphor. Choice is an illusion. We really don't have a choice. We either follow instructions or we exhibit the illusion of choice. Oh, did I just break the game? Nah, okay. Are these the credits? These are the credits. Oh, that's so clever. Oh shit, these are the credits. They even... In the impeccable cabin brightening. And yeah, and there he is. Developed by Crows. By Davey Warden and William... Yeah, wow. You guys... Yeah. Based on the work of the Stanley Parable 2013. Wait. Is this the deluxe ending to the game? Yeah. Hold on. Are we doing some kind of behind the scene? The office clock, obviously. The freedom ending. Okay, this was the first incarnation of the freedom ending in the game's alpha. Oh, okay. What ending is this? The boss's office. Well, obviously, I was like, hey, yeah, I'm gonna just make that last ditch effort.
Stanley pushed the big red button.
I don't think I want to. Underground. Early.
Push the number 8.
Huh. The escape. Early version of the underground portion. So if I went to the mind control. Let's explore a little bit more since I think we reached the end of the game or we broke the game. And now. Hold on. The maintenance room. Gentlemen, this is a war zone! Anyway. Okay, early in development, we designed an ending where Stanley would end up on the battlefield fighting aliens. The action game would become sentient and wage war against the narrator. We realized shortly after starting to build it, it was far too jokey and on the nose for the tone of the game. Plus, some people interpret it as making fun of the people who like shooters, which is not our intention. I mean, yeah, that's probably a good move to just kind of do what you guys done. The heck is this? Ah, okay. Narrator emails. After the second trailer, we sent out... Okay, hold on. Narrators. After the second trailer, we asked people to email the narrator for questions. What we initially planned to use these further promotional materials, we never found the perfect use for them. Here are a selection of those emails. Huh? Hey, what happened? New result. Wow, congratulations. Wow, congratulations. Gosh. In line with our previous announcement, okay, well, I guess you guys will just read it, pause it in my video. These are real emails from people. That is crazy. Oh my gosh, these are real emails from people, I imagine. Like, actual real players. How do you type with boxing gloves on? That's the neat part. You don't. Had to do that invincible line. What do the lights in the control room do? I really want to know, Montgomery Jones says. Okay, if I saw my name, I would be freaking creeped out. What if I typed the question? That would be so meta, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, the game realized that. Okay, the cargo lift. More of the cargo lift. Oh, the meeting room. Wait, what the? Obey, obey, first choice. Obey, obey, what? Wait. Wish I could zoom in. What's that say? I think it's something with the maintenance. There's two options. Huh. Obey, obey. Disobey. Lounge. Oh, that's the first entryway. I think I broke the game. Oh, lever. Zending levers. Interesting. The countdown desk, huh? So, I broke the game. That's funny. I broke the game, then the game would show me behind the scenes of where the magic happens. I think the game got mad that I actually broke it.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
That's... Who's the lady talking? Okay, let's see what happens if I go here.
When Stanley came to the lift, he traveled upward to the power source at the top of the facility to end this injustice forever. Stanley pushed the orange lever.
Oh my gosh.